So you want to learn how to be masculine? Here is how you do it. You change who you are as a person. To be masculine, it's an identity. It's a way of being, a way of thinking, a way of doing things. It's not a list of here are 6 things you can do to be more masculine. You can stand tall with your shoulders back. You can speak louder. You could speak with a deep voice. None of this bullshit. All of that stuff is just that. It's bullshit. It's not actual masculinity. That's trying to fake masculinity by doing certain things. The thing is, people see through that bullshit. That's why people come off as arrogant, as cocky. It's because it's not masculinity. They're doing certain things that, can be masculine traits, but they're doing it from a non-masculine core, a non-masculine personality. It's a non-masculine way of being who you are. I talk about this a lot, the who, the what, and the how. And you really need to focus on who you are. So what this video is going to be about is changing who you are as an individual at a core identity to become masculine. Once you change who you are, then all those actions about the way that you walk, the way that you talk, those are all going to come off naturally, and you're not going to look like some arrogant jackass who's just manspreading because, he's trying to take up space because he's told that's how you be masculine. No, that's all bullshit. Here are the 3 main tenets of masculinity. They are to decide, to provide, and to guide. Everything in masculinity can be summed up in those 3 tenets. Now, in each one of those, there's subcategories and there's a lot that we can discuss. But just remember, provide, decide, and guide. Follow those 3 tenets. Change those at a core level. Your identity, how you think, make sure everything follows those 3 tenets, and you will automatically be more masculine. You don't have to think about all these other things. It will just come naturally to you. So the first one I want to talk about is decide. Decide is simply that, is you need to actually take action. You need to decide on things. One of the most non-masculine traits is being indecisive. And you'll see a lot of women talk about this, about being indecisive, and they absolutely hate it because it's a non-masculine trait. To be masculine, you need to take action. Before you take action, you need to decide on something, and then you act out on it. But you need that decision. So in anything and everything in life, make a decision. It doesn't matter if it's the wrong decision. Now, obviously, try and make the right decision as much as possible, but you need to decide. You need to make a decision and then act on it. If you're at a restaurant ordering, don't go through the menu looking at it for 10 minutes and, oh, this looks good, but this looks good. Oh, maybe just pick it. Boom. That's what I want. Even if it turns out you made a bad decision, doesn't matter. That is masculinity. That is what women want. That is what people want in a leader. They want someone to be decisive. Just make a decision, stick with it. Doesn't matter if it's right or it's wrong. And do this in anything and everything. It's not just at a restaurant. Decide what you're going to do for the day. Decide where you're going to take your woman on a date, where you're going to go, how you're going to get there. Decide everything. Decide the way, and this is where I was saying certain traits, like the way you walk, the way you talk, be decisive. Decide how you're going to walk. Decide how you're going to talk. Decide how you're going to sit. Because it's going to change depending on the situation. There are times where you need to talk loud. There are times when you need to talk quieter and slower. What's appropriate depends on the situation, on the context. You need to decide what that context is and what you need to do. Same with the way you walk, the way you talk, everything, all of these masculine traits. Just be decisive in everything that you do. Decide to do everything. Don't leave anything to chance. Don't let your subconscious just naturally do whatever. If you're just walking over to go sit down on the couch, don't just walk over and sit on the couch. Decide how you're going to walk to the couch. Decide how you're going to sit down, where you're going to sit down. All of these little actions, decide it. And then, of course, the bigger actions. Decide where you're going to work. Decide how you're going to do your job. Decide who you're going to be in a relationship. Decide everything in life. You have to make a decision and then take action. That is the first tenet, is to decide. The second tenet is to provide. Now, this is one that I think is fairly more common. More people know that masculinity, that men in general, they need to provide. They need to provide shelter. They need to provide food, all of these things. So whether you're the breadwinner and you got to bring the money and you provide, that's what you need to do. But it goes beyond that. It goes beyond providing money, providing shelter, providing food. It's providing everything, everything that you can. That is the masculine trait, to provide anything and everything, to go above and beyond. Don't just provide, don't just go to work and make money and say you provide for the family. That's not it. You need to provide for everything, for every aspect. Just like we're taking decisions with everything, you need to provide for everything where it's appropriate, of course. There's certain things where you can't, but in general, you're going to provide everywhere and for everything. And a lot of this, specifically now when we're talking with women, so you want to build up that masculinity towards women, attract them. When you provide, it's providing safety. Safety, yes, in a physical sense of, if someone approaches the woman, you want to protect her. You want to provide safety through housing, from storms, warm or cold weather, stuff like that you provide. And of course, financially, that all is a form of safety. But the number one safety you need to provide, emotional safety. That is what women want. Men too, to a certain extent, but specifically women, you want to provide emotional safety. What does that mean? It means it doesn't matter how crazy your woman's acting. Maybe she's PMSing and her hormones are all over the place and she's yelling and she's screaming and whatever. You provide safety to her. That means it doesn't matter what she says, what she does. Now, I'm not saying justify everything. There's certain times where actions are inappropriate and you need to, set a firm boundary and say that's inappropriate, but you provide safety for her to express her feelings no matter how crazy they seem to you. Again, men and women are different. Women are emotional. They're going to have a lot of emotions. A lot of times they do things they don't even want to or they don't even realize because their emotions take over. To be a masculine person, to provide that emotional safety, you need to let her express those emotions and let her know it's okay. It doesn't matter that you went crazy because, you parked the car wrong or didn't park in the right parking spot. Doesn't matter. You let her know that it's okay. You still love her. All that stuff. Provide that emotional safety. That just means that she can act any way she wants around you. Again, that's still appropriate. If it's abusive or anything like that, that's a different story. But just the general emotions that women have, you got to be able to absorb those emotions and stay strong and grounded and firm in spite of all those emotions. That is providing emotional safety. Or let's say for work, for a boss, for CEOs, how do you provide emotional safety for your employees? Simple. You let them mess up. A lot of times, people, especially if they're new, even if they're not, people are going to mess up at work. People are going to make mistakes. People are often afraid of making mistakes because of the ramifications, because the boss will get angry. He'll start yelling. He'll fire people. To provide safety, you let people make mistakes and you teach them how to move forward. You make sure they don't make those mistakes again. That's how people grow, and that's how you provide that safety. When you provide that safety, people open up to you and they will come to you. They will feel closer. They will want to be led by you. That, again, is the masculinity. Masculinity is being a leader, deciding, providing. But the people have to follow you there. The way you do that is to create that safety, primarily emotionally, along with the other stuff. But in the society we live in, most people have homes, most people have food. But if you don't, or you're struggling or whatever, of course, that is still very important, as well as the money. But emotional safety is probably one of the most important things, not only for women, but also for men. Now, the third tenet is to guide. Now, I talked about this a little bit earlier, but there's a difference between being a boss and being a leader. A boss is someone who is in the position and they just boss people around, tell people what to do, and everyone listens to them, generally because they're afraid. A leader, on the other hand, is someone who actively follows the boss, the leader, the masculine person, the masculine personality. It's someone that you want to follow. In order to have someone follow you, you got to guide them. So again, you got to decide what it is you're doing. You then need to provide all the tools for them, and then you need to guide them. So you need to take the action. You need to be a little assertive, a little decisive. Take charge where you can and guide these people. Again, you don't have to be a boss. Even if you're at work and you're a coworker, you're the same with this person, you can say, hey, why don't we try doing it this way? I think this will work. I'm going to go do this. Why don't you go do that? And then we'll reconvene and see if that worked better. That is guiding. That is taking a leadership role and guiding someone to do something. Same with women. With women, it's not that men need to be overbearing and controlling. No. Women are more than capable at most things in life. And a lot of things, they're better than men at a lot of things. But women still want to be guided. Just because they can do something doesn't mean they want to do something. My woman knows how to drive. She can drive. She's a great driver, but she doesn't want to drive. She wants to be guided to where we're going. So generally, I take control. I drive. Again, that doesn't mean that I'm forcing her into the passenger seat or that I won't let her drive. No, I'm just guiding her, and I'm doing that by driving the car. But what's important here is when you're guiding, and really when you're doing all of this, providing, deciding, and guiding, you need to do what's not best for you, but what's best for everybody. Again, that is a true masculine person, someone that does something for the benefit of everyone. Think of the typical, alpha kind of person or a CEO, a boss. This is someone that does what's best for the company, what's best for the people, the best for everyone. That is true masculinity, is knowing what's best for everybody and then taking that decision and then guiding everything in that direction. That is true masculinity. Someone who just says, let's say you're picking a date with a girl that, you just, maybe not you just met, but you know a little bit about her, but you want to go for steak. So you're like, let's go Friday night, 7:00. We're going to this steakhouse because I want steak. Great. You get steak. Let's say the woman doesn't like steak. She doesn't like it or she's not fond of it. She prefers sushi. You want to be masculine. You want to guide. You want to make a decision. You want to provide. You guide. You say, hey, Friday night, 7 p.m., get ready. I'm going to pick you up. We're going to go to this sushi house. Don't have to say that she likes it. Just pick the sushi place because that's what she wants. To be a man, to be masculine, sometimes you have to sacrifice. You have to do what's better for everybody, not just for yourself. Don't be a selfish asshole. Do what's best for everybody. In this case, do what the woman wants. Know what she wants and then pick it. Select a date around what she will enjoy. And then trust me, she'll go into her feminine. You will get almost anything you want afterwards. But it's give and take. You have to do what's best for her. And then she will do what's best for you. But that is that give and take. That is how you guide. So when it comes to masculinity, again, 3 main tenets. And you want to live by this in anything and everything you do. That is to guide, provide, and decide.